Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, so you know what that means. You get a break today. From me demonstrating everything, we have Michelle that's going to be demonstrating everything. Say hi to Michelle, everybody. Hi, Michelle. All right. So, you're going to be going through another 30-minute AMRAP today. The whole point of these is to really get that heart rate up and keep yourself moving as long as you can with as few breaks as possible. So, you're going to go through 10 Romanian deadlifts, 10 alternating overhead presses each arm, 8 get-up sit-ups each side, 10 bed sheet rows. We're going to go over this one in detail a little bit. 8 step-ups each side, and then you're going to finish with 10 broad jumps. Once you're done that, try to go right back up to number 1, back into those Romanian deadlifts. Again, as minimal rest as possible, but don't try and race through these exercises and make the form look bad. Form is the most important part about this. So, let's go ahead and get started with the Romanian deadlifts. So, Michelle is going to take her weights here, and she is going to stand tall with those shoulders squeezed back. She is going to have her palms back towards her body. From here, she's going to keep the weight down in the heels and softly bend the knees, bend sharply at the waist like you are bowing, and lower those weights down to mid-shin. Keeping those weights close to the body at all time, only going down to about mid-shin. We want to make sure that we have a flat back here. So from here, she's going to keep her shoulder blades squeezed together, squeeze the glutes, drive the hips forward, and stand straight up. I want you to make sure that you're driving your hips forward at the same rate that your shoulders are coming back up to the ceiling. So go ahead and give them a couple more of these for them to see, Michelle. Take a breath in as you're lowering down, and then as soon as you start to drive those glutes forward and come back up, go ahead and exhale. Really focusing on squeezing those glutes and stretching those hamstrings as you come down. And up. Great. Awesome. So you will do 10 of those before moving on. So once you're done with those, we're going into the alternating overhead press. For the alternating overhead press, you are going to stand feet shoulder width apart. You are going to bring your weights up to your shoulders. I think you reversed your weights on your exercises here. All right, put those down, Michelle. Go ahead and grab those 12.5s. She was trying to get away with light Romanian deadlifts. Yep. I caught her. All right, so from here, you are going to drive one weight straight up overhead, bring it back down, and then alternate. Get the other side driving up. When you're driving up with your weights, you want to make sure that the weight ends wrist as above the shoulder as possible. So you don't want to have that wrist ending roughly out here in front of the shoulder. She's just going to alternate back and forth until she gets done with 10 reps each side. All right, Michelle, turn and face the camera real quick just so we can also point out. Go ahead and keep alternating for me. You want to make sure that your elbows don't flare out to the side as well. You want to try and keep those elbows as forward facing as possible while you go through these. Make sure to breathe with this. Exhale with the drive. Inhale coming back down. All right, good. Next we got the get up sit up. This one's a little tricky to get used to at first, but once you get the form down, it kind of feels natural. So for this, you're going to lay back flat on the floor. You want to make sure that whatever space you have, you're not going to bump into anything. So for the setup, you want to make sure that you have one foot, heel roughly in line with the knee on the other leg. That knee is bent. On the same side, you're going to have that arm straight up, knuckles pointing to the ceiling directly above your shoulder. Other arm is going to be out roughly at a 45-degree angle. Now, when you start to drive up, I want you to keep pressure down in both heels and your elbow on this downside. So, Michelle is going to roll to her left like she's getting up out of bed and put all her weight on that left elbow and both heels. Go ahead and come up into the first position, Michelle, all the way up. And then from here, she's going to drop that hand down, put weight down into her hand. And then, again, both heels, hands, she's going to drive her hips up in the air as high as she can, trying to create a nice straight line from knee up to shoulder. This hand being straight up is very important. Focus on that being straight up. All right, she's going to lower her butt back down to the floor. She is going to go back down to her elbow. And then the inside shoulder hits before the outside shoulder. I don't want to see anybody or hear about anybody just flopping back down to the floor with both shoulders hitting at the same time. So go ahead and give me another repetition here, Michelle. You're going to roll up onto that left elbow. You're going to plant the hand down on the floor. You're gonna drive your hips up in the air. You're gonna lower back down to the butt. Go to the elbow. Go to the inside shoulder and outside shoulder. All right, one last thing I want to point out here. Michelle, go ahead and go up into the top position of a rep for me. Go ahead and all the way up. This heel placement's important because you can see here she's got a nice 90-degree angle here at the knee, and the heel is pushing down into the floor. If this foot was too far back, she's going to be into the ball of her foot, which is not what we want to see. So go ahead, lower your butt back down, Michelle, and you will go ahead and lower her all the way out of position. You will do 8 reps on one side, then you'll do 8 reps on the other side. If you are comfortable with these, you're familiar with them, or you just want a little bit of a challenge, they're really easy for you, you can hold a weight, just a dumbbell or something up in that top hand that's pointing straight to the ceiling. That's why it's pivotal that that hand stays facing straight up at all times. If that starts to get loose and angle out somewhere else, you may lose control of the weight. Remember, safety first, watch your face. So, moving into the next goofy one that we got, bed sheet rows. So, this is a TRX row, traditionally, but if we don't have a TRX set at home and you're just looking for something at home that you may be able to use, you can use a toe strap if you have it in the garage. Use an old bed sheet that isn't fraying or torn. Just make sure it's sturdy. You want to find something that you could anchor this on. So maybe something in the basement, if you can find a support beam, something out in the garage. Again, something sturdy, something that isn't going to collapse. You are going to throw one end of the toe strap or one end of the sheet over and just loop it, drape it. So essentially that you're creating 2 ends that you're going to hold on to here. So from here, get a nice tight grip on there. You want to make sure that you're not going to go anywhere. And then walk yourself underneath a little bit so you get an angle from the knees up to the shoulder. Keep your feet flat, weight down those heels. Go ahead and pull your body up towards your hands with an exhale. Slowly lower back down. Again, very tight grip at all times. Eyes looking up, roughly about where you have it anchored to. So you are going to give me 10 reps here. Pulling with an exhale, lowering back down with a breath in. And you can modify the angle for this. So Michelle, if you walk back a little bit, it's going to be even lighter. If you were to walk in further like Michelle was beginning to, it's going to make it even harder for you. So you control the difficulty. It's going to be a tough one. Make sure you don't let go with your grip. Keep that grip tight. If you don't have anything like this that we can do some 2-point rows like we did in the other day's video. You can grab weights, you can grab a duffel bag filled with some weights, just anything of significant weight at the house that you can get a secure grip on, and you're just going to take a staggered stance and pull that weight right up into the rib cage while keeping your back flat. Alrighty, we're going to go into step-ups next. You're going to have 8 reps of these a piece. You want to find yourself a box at home. Find yourself a step that you can go up onto, something at least 12 inches tall, preferably no more than 18 inches tall, that is going to be sturdy and isn't going to slip and slide on you. So for this, you're going to start with both feet close to the box or your step. Go ahead and plant one foot all the way up onto the box, making sure that the heel is secured. You don't want to be in a position where your heel is back out here, because that's where you're going to be putting all your weight, and you want to make sure that it doesn't just slip and slide off of that box. So foot fully up on the box, you're going to drive into your heel, you're going to bring your body all the way up on top of that box. Go ahead and step up, Michelle. Plant that free moving foot up on the box, bring that same foot back down, keeping it under control. I don't want to see anybody flopping, I don't want to hear anybody stomping their foot down into the floor. So go ahead and drive into the heel that's up on the box and come all the way back down. Keep it slow, keep it controlled on the way down. If you need to add difficulty to this exercise, you're just going to hold weights down in your hands, down by your side. As you do this too, you're going to see from the front, go ahead and do another rep, Michelle. You want to try and prevent those knees from buckling in towards each other as you are stepping. You want to try and keep this knee as forward facing as possible, not letting it collapse in towards the other knee. If you feel like you have a little bit of imbalance, you feel a little wobbly, hold on to something nearby, set the box up, set the step up near a wall that you can touch for support. And if you feel like your balance is still just not the best, focus on something in front of you that isn't going to move. Your balance is going to be a lot better if you just get a focal point and stare at it the whole time through. Don't be watching the dogs, don't be watching the cats run around or anything, and preferably with something like this, just don't have them in the area when you're doing them. All right, last but not least, we got broad jumps. Definitely don't have the dogs or cats in the room when you're doing the broad jumps because they're going to want to play along. So for this, you're going to start with feet shoulder width apart. You're going to drop down into a squat position, just like you would for a squat. Then you're going to propel yourself forward as far as you safely can. I don't want to see anybody trying to go for an Olympic record here with distance. Just jump as far out as you can, land softly into the flat of your feet. You can press down into a squat, and then you can turn, go again. If you have the room for it, so if you land too far back in your heels, you'll see, as Michelle just demonstrated, you're going to wobble back a little bit. So try and land as flat into the heel and the ball of the foot as you can at the same time. So Michelle, go ahead and give me 3 jumps going straight forward all in a row. Trying to aim for a nice soft landing, shouldn't be loud, and don't let those knees buckle. Good. All right, so again, you can go back and forth if you don't have much room. If you got plenty of room, just go on down the driveway. Just go until your heart's content. So we're gonna go through that circuit of 6 exercises as many times as you can in 30 minutes. Again, whole goal, stay working as long as possible. Minimal breaks, and don't rush through the form. If you have any questions on any of the form, some of those things are a little bit more complicated, feel free to leave a message. You can comment, shoot us a message. We can always talk to you one-on-one for any of the exercises. And if there's anything you want to see in the upcoming videos, let us know. Have a good day.